Oh shoot, I'm sorry about that, you guys. It says, but I just lost my page. But the Fever star is continuing to take steps toward full strength. Fever coach Stephanie White told Indy Star on a Fever Insider podcast episode launching Wednesday this week. Clark isn't yet back playing 5-on-5, but she has been playing 2-on-2 and 3-on-3.
Hold on. Did you catch what he just revealed? Caitlin Clark isn't dealing with one injury. She's recovering from 3 separate injuries at the same time: a right groin strain, a left ankle issue, and another groin injury that ended her season. The Fever described her status as a week-by-week situation, but let's break down what that really means. When a franchise uses that exact phrase, they're not being transparent. They're buying time, managing expectations, and most importantly, protecting themselves from accountability. Because here's what nobody's talking about. How does the league's biggest star suffer 3 major injuries in a single season? That's not bad luck. That's a pattern. And before you assume this is just about recovery timelines, wait until you hear what's really happening behind closed doors with her training staff.
Up toward 5-on-5. Stephanie White and the Indiana Fever. I'm going to be real. I really wanted Caitlin Clark to train elsewhere with somebody else. I just don't trust the training with the Indiana Fever. I don't trust Stephanie White has the best interest of Caitlin Clark. I really don't. I don't think she knows how to utilize Caitlin Clark. I think she likes the idea of Caitlin Clark, but she's not comfortable with how she plays. Stephanie White likes a slow, methodical.
There it is. I don't trust the training staff with the Indiana Fever. And this isn't some random hot take. It's a legitimate concern backed by evidence. Think about the timeline. Clark appeared in only 13 games, just 13 out of an entire season. Now she's limited to 2-on-2 and 3-on-3 drills while the off-season slips away. Every day she's not playing full contact 5-on-5 is another day her skills aren't being sharpened against real competition. But here's the deeper problem. Nobody's connecting the dots. Stephanie White's coaching philosophy fundamentally conflicts with how Caitlin Clark plays basketball. Pay attention to this next part, because it explains everything about why her 3rd season could either explode into an MVP campaign or collapse into another injury-riddled disaster.
From the sideline. And Caitlin Clark likes to get up and down, have that freedom, play that read and react system that we all have grown to love to watch her play. And Stephanie White is just not, she's just not super fond of it. She's just not super fond of it. It's not her thing. So I am concerned with Stephanie White being Caitlin Clark's coach going forward, to be honest. But
she likes the idea of Caitlin Clark, but she's not comfortable with how she actually plays. Let that sink in. Your franchise player, the face of the entire league, is being coached by someone who doesn't embrace her natural playing style. Stephanie White wants a methodical, controlled offense. Caitlin Clark thrives in chaos, in transition, in that instinctive read and react freedom that made her a generational talent at Iowa. This isn't just a philosophical difference. It's a fundamental incompatibility that directly impacts her health. When players are forced into systems that restrict their natural movement patterns, their bodies start compensating, and that creates injury risk. Those groin injuries, that ankle sprain, they're not random. They're biomechanical consequences of playing constrained basketball. And here's what makes it even more concerning. The Fever's front office decisions suggest they might not even understand what they truly have in Caitlin Clark.
The title, because I don't trust Amber Cox and Kelly Crosskoff and Stephanie White to pick the right pieces. We saw all the mistakes they made last season, going and giving DeWanna Bonner a max contract, who was terrible for majority of the year, not just with Indiana, but with Phoenix too. She was terrible a lot of the time. Giving Natasha Howard a max contract, promising her things. You got her coming over here thinking she gonna win MVP and all types of nonsense. So although I do not trust them.
Did you hear that roster construction? DeWanna Bonner got a max contract and was terrible for most of the year. Natasha Howard got a max deal with promises of MVP consideration. This isn't smart team building. It's organizational dysfunction disguised as strategy. When you have a generational talent like Caitlin Clark, every roster decision should be designed to amplify her strengths. Instead, the Fever locked up aging veterans on max contracts while their 22-year-old superstar played through multiple injuries. This isn't just bad management, it's a fundamental misunderstanding of how to build a championship team in modern basketball. But wait, because the injury timeline reveals something even more disturbing about how the league has handled its biggest star.
Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark, second season, while she remains the franchise centerpiece for the Indiana Fever, one of the faces of the league, not one of the faces, the face. It was a year Clark will likely want to put behind her, as it was plagued by injuries. Clark appeared in just 13 games. While she was productive during that stretch, she never fully gained her health. She dealt with an injury during the preseason, suffered a groin injury early that year that caused her to miss time, then suffered another groin injury prior to All-Star break that ultimately ended her season, on top of the ankle injury. Now, with 5-on-5 activities set to begin this month, Clark can use the offseason to return to full form. She already has several exciting developments planned.
Listen to this sequence carefully. She dealt with an injury during the preseason. Then, early in the year, she suffered a groin injury that caused her to miss time. Later, before the All-Star break, she sustained another groin injury, the one that ultimately ended her season. Add in the ankle issue, and that's 4 separate injury incidents in a single season. Point 4. This isn't a player who's injury-prone. This is a player who's being mismanaged. And here's the part that should terrify every Fever fan. The pattern started in the preseason, before the real games even began. The warning signs were there. The medical staff knew. The coaching staff knew. Yet they kept pushing her into a system that clearly wasn't protecting her body. Now, connect that to what was said earlier about not trusting Stephanie White's training approach. The dots are forming a picture, and it's not a pretty one.
To be doing some 5-on-5, I think it's very much needed. Like I said, I think that this year Caitlin Clark needed to offseason. She needs to be playing 5-on-5 somewhere and not just doing that one-on-one individual stuff. You know what I mean? So this is a big deal. It's a big deal, man. And I can't wait for her to be I can't wait for her.
Interview 6. This is the breaking point statement everyone glossed over. When fans are openly questioning whether their franchise player should be training away from the organization, that's not criticism. That's a crisis of confidence. And honestly, they have every reason to be concerned. Look at how other generational talents handle their off-seasons. They're playing in Pro-Am leagues, running full-court scrimmages, maintaining their edge against elite competition. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is doing 2-on-2 drills in late October. The gap between what she needs and what she's getting is widening by the day. But here's where it gets really interesting. The officiating changes coming in year 3 might actually save her career. Ref.
Officiated differently. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. The finals definitely was officiated differently. They was calling a lot of fouls. You saw now Asia Wilson. She has a different type of whistle. 19 free throws. She shot more free throws than the Phoenix Mercury entire team. But they definitely started to call more fouls in the finals for sure. And I think going forward, that's going to be a point of emphasis for the refs to eliminate a lot of the physicality and to call the game tighter. And I think that benefits Caitlin Clark because, just as a viewer, nobody wants to watch these girls run around roughhouse.
They definitely started calling more fouls in the finals. And that's going to be a major point of emphasis for referees moving forward, aimed at reducing excessive physicality. This is the hidden key to everything. Caitlin Clark's injury issues aren't just about training or coaching philosophy. They're about the physical punishment she endured all season. When the league allows that level of contact, skilled players get hurt. It's that simple. Nia Wilson shot 19 free throws in one finals game, more than some entire teams. That's not because she suddenly became more aggressive. It's because the league finally started protecting offensive players. And if that same officiating standard carries into next season, Caitlin Clark's game transforms completely. No more getting hammered on drives. No more uncalled contact on her jumper. Her efficiency skyrockets. Her injury risk plummets. But there's still a massive obstacle standing between her and that MVP season everyone keeps predicting.
Adam Silver will see to it. I don't believe in Kathy Engelberg. I don't trust her, but I believe that Adam Silver will step in and get this deal done, and we will have a 2026 season. I also believe that
I believe Adam Silver will step in and get this deal done, and we'll have a 2026 season. Wait, stop. This isn't about 2026. This is about the CBA negotiations happening right now, the ones that could determine whether there's even a 2025 season at all. Players are demanding guaranteed contracts, higher salaries, and better travel conditions. If those negotiations collapse, Caitlin Clark's entire third season evaporates. All the talk about 5-on-5 return timelines becomes meaningless if there's no season to return to. The pressure on Adam Silver is enormous, because everyone knows the truth. The WNBA's explosion in popularity is directly tied to one player. Without Caitlin Clark on the court, the momentum dies. The casual fans disappear. The investment money dries up. Silver has to get this deal done. But here's the complication nobody's discussing publicly.
Only played in 13 games last year, basically missed a full season. A full season of play. We had to watch everybody else try to do their thing, and we saw some good players, but nothing is as spectacular as seeing CeCe on the court, doing her thing, loading up logo bombs, throwing those wild assists, getting those triple doubles, putting on a show for the people. We missed that. She's one step closer to making her big return.
She played only 13 games last year, basically missing an entire season. We watched everyone else try to step up, and yes, there were good players, but nothing spectacular. This is the uncomfortable truth that exposes the league's biggest problem. For decades, the WNBA has worked to build stars, develop talent, and create compelling storylines. Then Caitlin Clark arrived, and revealed that none of it had generated mainstream cultural impact. The moment she went down with injuries, viewership cratered. Attendance dropped. Social media engagement vanished. It's not that other players lack talent, it's that they don't move the needle. And that creates a dangerous reality. The entire league's financial future now depends on keeping one 22-year-old healthy and happy. The pressure on Indiana's front office is suffocating.
On the court, doing her thing, loading up logo bombs, throwing those wild assists, getting those triple doubles, putting on a show for the people. We missed that. She's one step closer to making her big return.
Logo bombs, wild no-look assists, triple doubles, pure entertainment. We missed that. That's what makes Caitlin Clark different. Not just her stats, but her showmanship. She plays basketball like it's performance art. Every game feels like an event. Every possession carries the possibility of witnessing something we've never seen before. That's not something you can teach or replicate. That's generational talent fused with fearless creativity. But when that's stifled by conservative coaching or compromised by injuries, everyone loses. The fans lose entertainment. The league loses relevance. And Caitlin Clark loses the prime years of her career. Which brings us to the ultimate question. Can the Indiana Fever actually build a championship team around her, or are they wasting her talent?
Caitlin Clark is going to have an MVP type season. I just believe that. I believe the GOAT is about to show up and show.
I believe the GOAT is about to show up and show out. I believe Caitlin Clark is going to have an MVP type season. There's the prediction, MVP in year 3, but notice what he didn't say. He didn't predict a championship. He separated individual greatness from team success because he knows, deep down, that the organization's dysfunction makes a title unlikely. And that's the tragedy unfolding in real time. Caitlin Clark can dominate individually, put up historic numbers, win every award imaginable. But if the Fever keep making catastrophic roster decisions, if Stephanie White keeps running a system that limits her, if the training staff can't keep her healthy for a full season, none of it matters. The window for a championship is smaller than people realize. She's entering year 3, and most generational stars win their first title by year 5 or 6. The Fever are already behind schedule, so the question isn't whether Caitlin Clark will be great. The question is, does Indiana deserve her? When she returns to full 5-on-5 action, something has to change. Will it be the system? Or will it be her? Drop your prediction below MVP season, or another injury-plagued year. Because the clock is ticking, and the entire league's future is riding on it.